the most important lesson that you have to take away today is that change is constant. And as Maya Angelou would say, if you don't like something, change it. If you don't like your life, change it. If you cannot change it, change how you see it, how you feel about it, change your mindset. Hello, beautiful people. Hope you all are doing very well today. Welcome to another video on the Young and Independent Community channel, where we discuss all things A+ mindset, personal development, and financial freedom for young Africans by your girl, an African. And today I wanted to share something that I've been doing for the past 10 days. So 10 days away from my birthday, which is today, I committed on social media that I was going to share 10 lessons that I've learned over the course of my 34 years on earth. And today I concluded the lessons with change. But I want to start from the beginning, where I started this journey all the way until today, which is my birthday. And for my birthday, for the first time, I'm not doing a party. I'm not cooking a lot of food. I'm not even cutting a cake. Can you imagine? But I'm sharing these lessons with you, and I hope that they bless you, because I've come to realize that no one is too young to teach and nobody is too old to learn. So I hope that as I share these 10 lessons with you, that they may inspire you and impact your life in one way or the other. If that's something you're interested in, stick around. So guys, welcome back. Without further ado, I'll just dive straight into it. The first lesson is no one will be in your life forever. This lesson was inspired by the loss of my father. My father was my hero. He was my first love, I can safely say, and he was a great provider. I lacked for nothing. I had the best things that life had to offer when my father was alive. But the day that he died, he never said goodbye. He never prepared me. I never thought about life without my father. And so I realized, oh my God, this is tragic, and I'm never ever going to see my father. And that's not the worst part. The worst part is that things changed. And as things changed and evolved, I also realized that other people came into my life and they never stayed. People that I cared so much about, people that I loved, people that I would have loved to have in my life for the rest of my life, but they are no longer in my life. And so I just wanted to tell you that although people may not necessarily die, but some people will be in your life for a reason, some people for a season, and some others for a lifetime. And it's very important for us to prepare our minds that it is possible that some people that are currently in our lives might not be in our lives forever. That's the first lesson, because if I had prepared that one day, someday, the love of my life, my dad, might not be there, which is, it's death, and death is something that no one can cheat. When it comes knocking, it literally forces its way into your home without your permission. So that's something that I should have prepared myself for, but I did not. I was completely ignorant of that. And that wasn't good. It didn't go down well. I haven't dealt with it very well. I'm still struggling until today, and it's been 17 years since he died. I was only 16, and today I'm 34. So the first lesson is no one will be in your life forever. Lesson number 2 is the absence of a good father is underestimated or underrated by society. Many young women who lack presence of a strong man, a father, especially a good father, not an abusive father, not a father who is aloof, not a father who is insensitive to the fact that they have a daughter. But it is very important for women, especially out there, to understand that sometimes we have to make those extra efforts, make those sacrifices that are not necessarily very comfortable for us, to make sure that our daughters, especially, I know that boys need their dads as well, but I'm talking from my perspective because I'm sharing my lessons. It's very important for women to understand how important the father figure, the male figure, is in the life of women. And listen, ladies, and gentlemen, obviously, it's important for you to be there for your daughters. My father's absence has impacted my life in ways that I cannot even start to explain. This morning on my birthday, which is supposed to be a joyous day, I cried. I spent the first hour of my birthday crying over my father's death, or missing my dad. And the reason why I cried, it wasn't necessarily because my father has died, but it's because when I look back on my life and the past 24 years of my life, everything I've been through, and some things that I'm dealing with at the moment, which I'm not going to share for now, is I look back and say, if my father was alive and if my father was here for me, I would not be going through this. And if my father had just been with me a little bit longer, I would have been able to navigate, these waters, these storms, perhaps better or more emotionally astute, or more resilient, or people call me feist, but maybe I would have been even more feisty. Yeah. So it's very important. The absence of a good dad can be very damaging to a young woman. And all the men that I have dated in my life, I've always wanted to find my dad in them, because my daddy didn't date me. He didn't teach me that there might come a time in my life when I will have to move on from my love for him to my love for another man who might eventually be my husband and the father of my children. And I have struggled with that. So it's important for men who are listening to be there for their daughters, and also for women who have daughters with men, to make sure that they do everything within their powers, if those men are still alive and they are good fathers, not abusive, that they can build that connection between their female children and their dads. Lesson number 3 is bad things will happen. Bad things will happen to you whether you like it or not, but how you react to those bad things is what changes everything. I've talked about my father's death in the beginning. I've talked about it in lesson number 2, and by now you should have gotten the trend in my thoughts in my life, and the fact that particular incident really, it was a massive blow. It was like knocked me off my head. I literally fainted when they announced that my father had died. I fainted, like in reality. So that's how, it just turned my life upside down. But bad things will happen to you, and how you decide to react to those things is what changes everything. Yes, my father died. He was a great provider. He was the love of my life. He died, and life became really hard. Now, I had 2 options, and I always say this. When my father died and life became hard, I had 2 options. I had one option to go wayward, sleep around with men, get, $10, $5 here and there, $50, whatever, or walk the path that is harder, which is the path that I took, to go on, study very hard, become financially independent. And so I responded to it better than some of my siblings have, and also I continue to respond to it. Every bad thing that happens in my life, like my baby's daddy walking out of me, I've always tried as much as possible to flip things around and make it work in my favor, because you cannot change the seasons, right? But you can change how you react. When there's a storm, you just take an umbrella instead of walking in the rain. So bad things will happen. How you react is up to you. Lesson number 4 is everyone doesn't have the best intentions for you. Listen, that's my own lesson that I had to learn the hard, bitter way. I am generally a very trusting person. I trust very blindly, and I remember my partner telling me that, everyone is not like you. You cannot go around trusting people and just opening your teeth with everyone, because people have 2 faces. People literally have 2 faces. And I told the story on my blog. If you go over to Young and Independent, I don't want to make this video long, but if you go over to the youngandindependent.com blog, you would see all the lessons there and some of the individual stories that I told. And here I was telling the story of a friend who pretended to be my friend and who even called me sis, but she ended up sleeping with every single one of my suitors. All the men that I presented to her, she slept with, including my ex-fiance. So Everyone is not like you. You might have a kind heart, introduce people to your husband, your friend, your job, you'll tell people about your bank accounts and stuff like that. Just be very careful, because not everybody is like you. People might share this information with you and you might celebrate them, you might be genuinely happy for them, but when you share them with other people, they might not necessarily react the way you would. So be careful what you share. Lesson number 5 is not family isn't always going to be loyal. Listen, I was one of those people who felt, oh my God, I'm so grateful that my mom has 7 kids. I've got my army, my loyal army. They're always going to be there for me, because I felt that I was always going to be there for my family. So I felt like, okay, they will be there for me as well. But that hasn't panned out exactly the same way that I thought it would. And I just want you to know that it's okay for your family not to share the same level of loyalty as you. All you need to do is accept that people are different. And there's a saying in Africa, I don't know if that saying is true, in Europe and other parts of the world, that you give birth to children but not their hearts. So although the same mother might have birthed you and your siblings, you guys don't have the same heart. You don't look alike. You don't have the same life philosophy. You don't look alike in the same light. So the way you'll be loyal to your sibling is not necessarily the way they will be loyal to you. Same to your mother, your father, your uncle, your auntie, your cousins, your nephews, your nieces. It doesn't matter who, as long as they're sharing the same DNA as you. They might not necessarily be the ones that support you. They might not necessarily be the ones that sing your praises, the ones that share your stuff, your posts and stuff like that. Not necessarily. So be mindful of that and be accepting of that. Lesson number 6 is question everything. Trust less. Listen, oh my God, don't be so trusting of people. I came across a lady on an app where I buy stuff and resell, and she sounded so nice. She sounded so polished, like, please just pay into my bank account. It's my business bank account. Don't worry about it. If there's a problem, the bank is going to pay you back. It has a better coverage than sending to my private account. And I trusted her because she said she's a mother. When she used the word mother, I became sensitive, because I'm a mother and I take these things very seriously, but she didn't. So you have to trust less until people prove themselves. Do not blindly trust anybody. And I lost £1,000 on that transaction. She took my money and she blocked me on this app. I couldn't message her. I reached out to my bank and my bank said, sorry, you are the one who transferred this money. When you were transferring this money, we asked you, do you know this person? What did you do? You clicked yes. And so we are discharged of all our responsibilities, and this is now your problem. It's not ours. Lesson number 7 is ignorance is not bliss. Forget when people say ignorance is bliss. That is the biggest, fattest lie of all times. Ignorance is not bliss. It is your responsibility to learn, to read, to know what is and to know what is not. It is absolutely your responsibility. The onus is on you, and you have to take the responsibility to do what you have to do. I came to London in 2019. That's one of the stories that I told in my blog. I was ignorant of what it means to travel from one part of London to another part of London, which is like the outskirts, and I ended up with frozen fingers. I ended up with a penalty. I ended up with an unpaid penalty and penalties on top of the unpaid penalty. And the final straw that almost made me sink into a depression is when I started receiving letters telling me that they were going to drag me to court and that they were going to prosecute me if I didn't pay, and they will put me in prison. So although I wanted to claim, oh no, I've just arrived the country and all of this happened in a week. I've just arrived the country. No, I didn't know the rules. I asked, this person told me this. It is your responsibility to know the things that affect you, and you have to do everything within your powers to protect yourself. So ignorance is not bliss. Read books, read blogs, listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos, and learn and protect yourself from so much heartache and pain. Point number 8 is guard your ears and your heart. Listen, there are 3 types of people that you should be careful about. The people that speak with you, okay? The people that speak into you, usually people of authority, coaches, elderly people, and the people that you speak to, the people that you open your mouth and talk about your own issues to. Be careful, because these people have a very, very powerful influence on you, whether you like it or not. The Bible says you should guard your heart. There's a reason why. Guard your heart, because what goes through your ears goes into your heart. And if you speak to someone, the person that you speak to, if you speak to that person about your dreams, your aspirations, and that person doesn't have your same ambitions, they have the power to, just pour water on your kerosene, on your fire. Do you know that? They will pour water on your fire without necessarily realizing that they're doing harm to you. And you, without necessarily realizing that they're transferring their insecurities to you, you will fall for it, and they will kind of slow your momentum. The people that speak into you, they might literally be talking rubbish into your life, literally talking abstract nonsense into your life, or they'll be talking wisdom, fantastic things that will build you up, mold you up, fortify you. You have to be careful about these 3 types of people. Go to my blog and read it, youngandindependent.com. Number 9, is actions have consequences. And as Dr. Myles Munroe eloquently puts it, consequences are far more important than the decisions that you make. Let me say that again. The consequences that you leave are far more important than the decisions that you make. It is very easy to make a decision. You can make a decision in a split second to sleep with someone without protection, right? The consequences of that will be maybe HIV, sexually transmittable diseases, pregnancy. And are you willing to live with the consequences of that decision that you've made, that action that you've taken? Are you willing to deal with the consequences? If you are not willing to deal with the consequences, do not make the decision, do not take the action. As simple as that. Because once you pull the trigger and you're holding a gun, you pull the trigger at someone, the bullet goes through. Whether they live or they die, it's up to you to decide if you want to live with the fact that you've murdered someone or that you hurt someone and they have stitches all over their body. That's up to you. And I share a story as well about an action that I took, which eventually led to some consequences that I am paying for until today. Number 10, and the most powerful of all the lessons that I learned over the years. And when I cried this morning and I was talking to my cousin about it, I said, number 10 is change is the only constant thing in life. All the things that I've said, the 9 lessons that I've shared with you, the most important lesson that you have to take away today is that change is constant. And as Maya Angelou would say, if you don't like something, change it. If you don't like your life, change it. If you cannot change it, change how you see it, how you feel about it, change your mindset. It is absolutely crucial. I hated the fact that my father died. I couldn't do anything about it. It happened. But I had to accept it at some point, like accept that he's gone and build my life going forward without him. I've done some crazy things in my life where I have kind of pivoted, in terms of I have wanted to just flow with the season, literally flow with the seasons of my life. Because every time that I have faced challenges, I've realized that I have something within me, like a warrior spirit within me. Once I accept that this is my reality, The next thing to do if I don't like that reality is to change it, and I found that that works out for me really well. I don't know about you, but I want you to know that whatever it is in your life, if you're broke, you can change it. If you're uneducated, you can change it. If you're sick, you can change it to a certain extent. Everything. If you cannot change something, just accept that you can't. It is your new reality, and change your mindset. Instead of seeing a cup half full, half empty, see it as half full, half full. My last birthday, my son said something to me when I was 33. He said, "Mommy, I feel that if your father didn't die," and my son was 9. Listen, guys, he was 9 when he said this to me. He said, "I feel like if your father did not die, you will not be where you are today." Oh my God, that was so powerful. And I was like, wow, thank you, baby, for reminding me about this. And maybe, just maybe, you're right, that because my father died and I accepted it and I changed to fit my new reality, I made changes along the way with everything, every blow that life has dealt me, every curveball that life has thrown at me. I have tried as much as possible to adapt and to change for the better. I hope that you really enjoyed these 10 lessons leading up to my birthday. I have also decided that I'm going to put all these lessons together into a book and send it off to an editor, so that this book, it's a mini book, like a small book that someone can read and it can change their lives. One of the things that I'm learning to do is to read as much as possible, read from other people's experiences. It is terribly enriching. I really love doing it. Thank you so much for listening. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to drop a comment in the comment section. Which one was your favorite lesson? What are some of the things that you've gone through? Would you share this video with your friend? If you would, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so that the next time we upload a video, you'll be the first one. Thank you guys, and take care of yourselves. Bye bye. Happy birthday to me. Bye.